The World Bank and FAO has calculated our failure to protect and use the wealth of oceans. In economic terms, we're talking of an annual loss of $50 billion worldwide. This is caused by overcapacity of the fishing fleets, discarding millions of tons of edible fish, and by a very low productivity compared to the vast potential. Nobody benefits from the fishery policy as we know it in Europe today. The message is clear. The present policy is leading to the opposite of what we all want.
It's obvious that the common fishery policy doesn't work well. There are too many problems. We see overcapacity, we see regulations which is not being respected by the fishermen. So we have to do something else. I think instead of discussing what kind of further regulation could we do, we should have a reform of the common fishery policy. We need to make a shift. We have to make a stop for discard of fish, which is such a waste. And we have to move from landing quotas to catch quotas, so that everything what is caught by the fishermen is brought to land. And I believe if we can make this change in the system, we will also give the fishermen new incentives to fish in the right way and in an acceptable way. And the point is that the fishermen shall gain from this new system by getting higher quotas. Instead of discarding fish, we give the opportunity to have higher quotas.
Consumers have realised that fishing is not all that they thought it was. Things are not going as well as they thought it was, and there are huge problems with overfishing and discards. Both of these are issues that have now become common language to consumers. Consumers are concerned about the fish that they're catching. They're really worried about whether the fish they're eating are being caught sustainably. They're worried about whether the fish they're catching are contributing to some of the problems of discards and overfishing.
Today, we can present the new technology which can pave the way for a sound management of fisheries. A management that works through incentives and documentation instead of control and regulation. The detailed regulation as we know today is counterproductive. More detailed regulation of the fishermen will not make it any better. The new technology and incentives for the fishermen is the way forward. The EU should bring its own house into order because the European Union has the knowledge, the technical expertise and the political will to show the way in a new beginning for a sound management of our fisheries worldwide, beginning with our own. During a year from September 2008 to September 2009, the Danish Technical University has tested a new technology on board 6 fishing vessels. The principle is very simple. 4 cameras register each fishing operation, where, what and how much is caught. The results are registered electronically and can later be used as documentation for catches during the fishery.
As a scientist, we get really specific data, and we have measurements of all caught that are taken from the sea to the boat. And that is not a normal procedure, because normally we only see what are landed in port. And this is a brand new picture, if you can say it in this way, because we normally do not have access to this kind of data except from having observers on board. But now we are filming everything, and we have data for every day they go out. When the catch comes on board, it drops down back here, it goes through the sorting table, and we have one camera back here filming the sorting board where they put the catch in different sortings and in buckets. And the discards goes out back here, and that's filmed by this camera back here. We have high quality, high resolutions, and we get data from all events. We have really little data loss. It's fantastic.
The result of our project is that we have seen now that we can use electronic monitoring to verify the documentation the fisherman has done at sea. The sensor data can be used to verify exactly where they are fishing, when and where, and the video, the images can be used to verify the catch composition and the discard practices or pattern at sea. We have seen that the documentation by using electronic monitoring is reliable, and it's very good to document what the fisherman has been doing at sea.
As a food processor, the fully documented program is a very important step forward. A lot of our international retailers, food service companies, our customers all requires more than just food safety and quality. For them, things like sustainability, bycatch, discards, it's very important as well. And I think the fully documented fishery can provide that to us and our customers.
The utilization of fish stocks is based on an intellectually simple but technically difficult calculation. How much of a given fish stock do we have? How will the stock grow next year? And how much catch can we take out of it? The catch will consist of landings and discards. Discards aren't known but must be estimated. Behind each landing quota is a catch quota that, besides the reported catches, also contains assumed discards and assumed unreported catch. This figure shows the total mortality of the cod stock in the North Sea as estimated by ICES. The green area is landing, the yellow area discards, and the red area other mortality that's not accounted for, unreported catches and the such like. In the present fisheries policy target of the rules is the landings, while the biologically important figure is the total mortality of the stock. If now the fisherman must account for everything that he catches, the quota should be the sum of the green, the yellow and the red area, because now there are no fish caught that are not accountable for. The fisherman will be the first to make sure that he gets good valuable fish out of the catch, and a lot of small fish won't be caught anymore. Now the consumer, the fisherman and the manager has a common interest in making the best out of the resource.
The use of cameras on boards is fantastic. WWF has advocated the use of observers on fishing boats for a long time to record what is actually being caught, because with the present system you can only record what is landed at port, whereas here we can actually see what is being taken out of the sea, what is being processed on the boat, and what is being thrown back at the sea, and what is being kept and taken to port and landed.
ICES is an organization which is coordinating science in the North Atlantic, and we are providing advice to the national governments and to international bodies for the management of fish stocks and marine ecosystems. Whenever you want to do a good advice, you need the best possible information, data. And the most important information we need is the fact of how many fishes really were withdrawn from the system. What was the number of fishes fished, not the number of fishes landed. And here it comes to the place where we really would appreciate to find a new system where the management system would be based on catches rather than on landings, which would provide us, the scientists, with much better data on the actual removal of fish from the sea. With these better data, I think we could provide better advice for the benefit of the fish stocks, but also for the benefit of the fishing industry and the management on a long term.
The fishermen shall gain from this new system by getting higher quotas. Instead of discarding fish, we give the opportunity to have higher quotas. That is the right way to go. And of course, I'm aware of that we need documentation for what's going on in the fishery. And therefore, last year I started this project with camera documentation. And it shows us that this is the right way to go forward, because it's a very easy way to show what is taking place in the fishery. And this again allows the fishermen to have new incentives to fish in the right way, in an acceptable way. So that is what we should go for.